One technique that's quite overlooked is actually running with the ball. Not necessarily dribbling left and right, but running with the ball in a straight line, approaching towards the defender, receiving the ball, getting into the space. We're not talking about kicking the ball as fast as we can and sprinting with the ball, but more so controlled and running with the ball. So 70% speed or 50 to 70% speed is what we're looking at. So firstly, what should it look like? We're gonna start from the left side of my distance here. I've got about 10 yards of distance. What we're gonna do is we'll just run with the ball slowly, and then we'll come around the cone or pole, and then we'll just go from there. Now, one thing you're gonna notice when I am doing this is going to be placement of my foot before I make the contact. So firstly, let's go over the foot shape. If you pay attention to my foot shape when I was dribbling just then, what you are going to notice is that I have my foot close to the ball first. I'm not coming from a little backswing to make the contact. It is actually starting from the foot being really attached to the ball. When you're attached to the ball, you don't need a backswing to make the contact. Because you're on the ball, all you need to do is just a simple drag to get out of the ball. In my channel, I talked about the dragging the ball a lot, and that's to maximize the close control of your ball. When you're making that backswing to make the contact, the ball gets away from you, and naturally, there's a distance between you and the ball. But the good thing about this technique when you're running with the ball is because you're starting with the ball and you're dragging the ball out, you get to stay with the ball a little bit longer, helping you, enhancing that close control ability. So again, foot shape, so the plant foot is going to be just slightly behind, depending on what kind of speed you're running at, right? Or how much you want to push the ball. So with that said, my plant foot is going to be just naturally, maybe a step behind the ball. And from here, place your foot literally right behind the ball, but maybe just go underneath it. So that way I can get close to the ball as much as I can. And then from here, all I need to do is just lean forward and then just dragging the ball out with my body. Again, key thing, you have to go with the body, dragging the ball out. And the foot shape, we're not just going to keep a vertical foot shape. Anatomically, it's a little bit easier if you were to just rotate your foot a little bit more inside. Then that's going to help us to maximize the contact surface of the ball, and which means the dragging should be much more precise and easier to get the ball out. So all in all, step away, foot vertically down, slightly rotated to the inside, leaning forward, right? Because also, a second tip, if your plant foot's so far away, it is very difficult for me to lean over. So stay maybe a little bit closer, so that way from here, my drag is going to get longer as I can extend my foot more. Just don't be too far in the back, again, because now then the negative side is I've already come to an extension of my body form, which means I cannot extend or drag as well as the previous form. So stay close to the ball, don't be too far, just a step away, maybe even a little bit closer is okay. Just make sure, get close to the ball and just lean into that ball, and you're gonna feel that ball just being dragged out, and you're gonna hear the ball being, again, dragged forward into that space. So that's the technique. Right, then let's go over a simple technique or simple exercise to practice the technique. We can start from the one side of the exercise. I've got about 10 yards of space here. Obviously, you can make it longer, you can make it differently, but the first one is going to be just simple 10-yard driving the ball, right? Running with the ball. So take it slowly. All you want to do is just turn, and when you're driving straight line, you want to lean into that ball and feel that ball being just dragged out. Lean and be attached onto that ball as much as you can, or as long as you can. So here we go, drag, and it's almost like lunging when you're pushing that ball out. Lunge, lunge, and lunge. So you can see there's no real backswing when I'm making the contact, but rather where does the power come from? Where does the speed or the push come from? The push is going to come from your hind leg, your back leg. What you want to do is, from here, you want to kick off the back leg with your foot already attached onto the ball, back leg just dragging. You want to push off that back leg. So pay attention when I go again. Because if you like what you're watching, I've got my community where I help you hand in hand. check out the link down below in the comment section, and hopefully I'll see you there. So if you had just watched carefully, when I am extending, kicking off the back leg, you can kind of see that I am doing my best to extend it as much as I can, which means I'm also kicking my foot backwards this way as well. So every little bit helps. So let's go again. Lean, lean. Extend and lunge. Drag the ball. Ooh. Drag the ball. So what's another good thing about this technique? You can see the ball again stays close to me, which means I can get onto my second action much easier than having that backswing and kicking. But there's a time and place for the other technique as well, such as when you're doing a counter attack, you want to get from point A to point B as fast as you can, right? That might be a very useful situation to kick and run after the ball. But in this case, think of as you can receive the ball and approach the defender and then skill to get out. Okay, so let's just simply go back to this technique again to recap. So plant foot behind, close to the ball, just nicely extend and lunge, stay close to the ball, right? Another thing I try and keep in mind is as I'm lunging, I try and push my chest out. So you just stand tall. You stand tall. Stand tall. Push your chest out, lean forward, lunge, lunge. And you can speed up gradually there and drag and lunge tight. And lunge, extend as much as you can. Right, so here's a second exercise that might be more applicable in the game, or some of the situations that you might see more in the game. What we're going to do is I'm going to utilize this board here, and I'll be receiving the ball with the back foot, then I'll start to drive towards the pole, and then we'll exit with different variations of skills. But the key thing, like I said, it's a great technique. What we're doing right now, it's a great technique for us to receive and get onto our extension to stay close to the ball, but engage the defender at pace. Right, so the next exercise I brought you, we're gonna play the board, get the ball back. We're just working on changing the direction while we are running with the ball. So we're gonna run from cone to cone with the ball, but once we get to the cone, we can either turn before the cone or around the cone to change the direction. Now, I'll leave that up to you when you practice. Just try different ways to change the directions and make sure it connects nicely, seamlessly from running with the ball to changing the direction. That is the challenge. And like I said earlier, you just want to focus on creating the feeling of the ball being dragged out and you lunging in, extending from the back leg and just creating that lunging where the ball stays with you the whole time. So this video concludes where you learn how to run with the ball. This is maybe not taught as often as it probably should be, but as you can tell, this technique is absolutely crucial if you want to be a half-decent soccer player. So practice it, learn how to run with the ball, so that way you can run into the space, dribbling, and we'll see you in the next video.